Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to your guest. Today we have from Grafton, Mass, right across the picket line, or whatever you want to call her line right there, we have M.J. Fleming, and she is an author. She's got her first book out called My Only Sunshine. She escaped, but is she free? Where did you get that idea?
I have 3 young children, and so one of the songs that you sing to young children is My Only Sunshine, You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine. And as I was singing it to them over and over and over again, it occurred to me that the song was a little weird.
Yeah.
And it could not always be construed as sweet and nicely as we sing it to children.
Yeah.
And so I liked the idea. And so, the idea from the book was kind of separate, but it worked into the title. And it is the subtitle actually came from the woman who did the cover.
Yeah, you had somebody this cover is amazing. I mean,
yes, it is.
Now, see, if you had waited forever from a publisher, they would have not given you a shot to do it on your own.
No.
She did it on her own, and there's a great picture of you in the back. I thought, you look so young. I thought she was just out of high school. I didn't really read the back that she's on the birth of her 3rd child. I'm like, okay, now I got it. All right, on a cold morning in late fall, a girl was found running down the street, naked and screaming. She had been missing for over a month. Take it from there.
So the story picks up 5 years later, where Taylor Cormier is, living her life, but living it because of what happened to her. I always describe her as being very much on defense.
Yeah.
She protects herself and guards herself, but, is that really life if you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop? And so it comes, it's 5 years later, and she very much holds at bay the trauma that happened to her and pushes things away. And so what happens is another girl goes missing.
Yes, and she's known all along that she feels still not safe.
Right, her assailant was never captured because she has quite significant memory loss, and originally it was described to her as a way of protecting herself and that things would come back. And she kind of actively makes sure that they don't come back. She doesn't want to know in a lot of respects, and so when another girl goes missing, she's put in this position where before no one was getting hurt by her lack of memory.
Yeah.
It was really just her own situation. But now there's someone else.
Yeah.
And so do you try to help? Do you see what you can do to potentially save this girl? Or do you not? And so she decides to help.
To help out the police and to find the girl and that Jacob guy. I don't want to give away the ending. This is for a first book. MJ, this is amazing.
Thank you.
For a first book.
Thank
How
you.
long did it take you to write this?
So it took me a year. What happened when I left my job, our daughter had just been born. I'd gone back for a couple of months, but ultimately it was too much for a full-time position and all 3 children who were very young. And so I started in January that year, and I said, okay, I left my job in November. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do this, now is the time. Take the energy that you were putting into working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And before you get into the new normal of what it is to be at home, because I had never been at home with my children before.
Right. What did you do before that? What were you doing for work?
I worked at Worcester State University. I was their events director.
Wow.
So, we did everything from commencement to a meeting of 5 people to
That's
summer
a big jump to go from leaving that to...
It was a big switch.
Yeah, big.
It was a big shift, and it was a great position. It was a great job, and I had a lot of experience doing a lot of very cool and interesting things.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any full-time job, I think when you're out of the house for 50 hours a week and you're trying to parent and everything, it was
so this came out in May.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, since then, where have you been? Where have you appeared?
So far, we've done a couple of news stories. I did an event last week at Enchanted Passage in
they're
Sutton.
great. Over in Sutton, they've been on the show, yeah?
Wonderful,
yeah.
Wonderful. It's the cutest little bookstore
yes,
in the world.
Yes, it is.
So I've done that. I've loaned myself out to book clubs. If anyone has book clubs, I'm
Speaking
on
to
board.
book writers groups and books clubs. It's
Yeah,
a great idea.
And then this week we're gonna go over to Bedlam Books
Yeah.
and set something up. Trying to work with Roots and Press too. They're a brand new bookstore in Worcester.
Yeah.
So they
There's
just
so
opened.
many.
There
I mean,
are.
Rhode Island, I don't know if the Rhode Island authors group association is amazing. There were over 300 authors at their expo, I guess it was last year or over the winter.
Mhm.
Over 300 in one big
Place.
room. It was actually overwhelming. And of course, I have to know all the different expos around, and there's just
Yeah.
many that are just, it's amazing. The people don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and your book, I would say, would appeal to all age groups, don't you think? The teens up to the seniors?
I think it would. I hesitate to put it out as a YA because I think that there are subject matter in there that, you know, would be potentially concerning for the younger end of young
I'm
adult.
thinking teens
you know,
and ups, yeah.
You know, 16, 17. So there are some younger. I've got friends of mine have daughters who have read it, but it's
Yeah.
a case-by-case basis, you know.
So when you first decided to do it, to self-publish it, right?
Mhm.
And you received them all in the mail, right? Well, where they came to your door, right?
Oh, I cried.
Oh, how many did you
It
order?
was crazy. The proof book, because then on Amazon they'll give you a proof book. I got the proof book. I cried at the proof book.
And then you had to order from there.
And then I ordered, I originally ordered 10 because I didn't really think
Oh,
that I
you
would
need
get
more than
rid of
that.
them.
Yeah,
And then they were
you
gone.
will. Yeah.
So then I ordered 50 more. So I still have a few of the actual books,
Me
but
too.
mostly it's selling, you know, through Amazon in actual book form, and then
Yeah, that's what I
ebook.
tell my authors. Don't just go with that online
No,
thing. People
both.
want to see you. Get you out there,
Yeah.
talk with them, schmooze with them, meet other authors at
Yeah.
expos. You know, you can walk around, get their business cards, and they say, gee, I know of somebody who's looking for someone to come who writes in your genre.
Mhm.
And it's amazing, all the people.
it's networking. It's a
Yeah.
big network.
Now, so this is your first time on television.
Yeah.
She's doing great.
How am I doing?
You're doing really good. Where are the children? With Daddy?
No, the children are at home with a sitter.
Oh, okay. All right. So she came, and that was good.
Yeah.
You know, she got there.
I always makes you nervous.
Where did you live before Grafton, or were you raised here?
I grew up in Gardner,
Yeah.
which is like an hour north from here.
Yeah.
And Templeton, where the book is set, is actually right next to Gardner. And I rode horses when I was young, and that was in Templeton. So I spent a lot of time in Templeton.
Did you go to college up that way?
I went to college in Worcester.
Worcester State?
Yep.
And then you ended up as their events planner.
Yep.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I did my bachelor's at Worcester State, and I got my master's in Framingham.
What were your
at
what did you
Framingham
major in?
State. English for my bachelor's,
Yeah.
and my master's was public administration, because at the time I was a public administrator. So it
And you had
made
no
sense.
idea you were going to become an author?
You know, I always wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, 20 dozen short stories sitting in a file somewhere. You try and write something. It's been a long time coming as far as wanting to do it. But I think, you know, like with anything, life happens. You know, you go to
Yeah.
college and you start working,
Yeah.
and you meet your husband, and you're getting married, and then you're having children, and at some point you look up and you're like, okay, now what do we do?
What's my passion?
Now
right?
what do we do?
What's my
Right.
Is there another one coming? I always ask this.
There is another
I knew
one
it.
coming.
I knew it. What is that? Well, give us an idea about that one. There's never just one. They'll love to
It
keep
wasn't
going.
going to be a series originally.
Yeah.
And I don't think there will be more than just the next one. I don't think it will be like a trilogy or this long.
No. So it'll just kind of
drawn-out
follow up on My Only Sunshine.
thing. Yeah, My Only Sunshine ends, and very much there is a conclusion, but there's also some outliers that kind of hang out there at the end that you kind of
Yeah.
question.
Would it be like a
What
fantasy
else?
or no? Not more realism than fantasy?
No, I think it'll be more realism than fantasy, and
Yeah.
I think it'll just kind of finish off her story. You know, at the end, she has taken charge of her life, but very much in a kind of situational.
Yeah.
There was this crisis, and she handled it, and that's wonderful. But you have to take that, you have to translate that to your actual life,
Yeah.
not just this crisis situation that you managed to deal with. So,
Yeah.
we have to resolve a few
Yeah.
things for her.
You're going to be leaving a copy downstairs, right?
Yeah.
And you can MJ Fleming, My Only Sunshine. She escaped, but is she free? So she was 5 years kept in hostage situation, right? He kept her, right?
No, she was only actually gone for about 40 days.
Oh, okay. All right. Where did I
the
see
story
5?
is set 5 years later.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So when she's taken, she's 13 years old, and when you meet her, she's newly 18. So she was gone for a little over a month, but she's been home with her family. But
she escaped.
She did escape. But just because we escape our trauma doesn't necessarily mean we're free from it.
Yeah, and then with her therapist, she begins to recover memories of her abduction, hoping to uncover new evidence that will help the police find the next girl that's been taken, and find Jacob or both. Now, of course, I'm not going to give it away, but boy, that Jacob dude.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy.
Then there's an epilogue here.
Yes.
I like the way, not everybody does an epilogue.
No.
I like it.
I think you have to, especially after an ending where it is, like I said, such a crisis situation. I like to see them post-crisis.
Yeah.
And, did that break you? Or did you go somewhere else with it? Like, what happened? So.
My Only Sunshine. Then by M.J. Fleming. And how can they get a copy of your book?
They can get it on Amazon. It's available in paperback and ebook. It's also coming out on the audiobook that'll be available on iBooks, Amazon, and Audible. I had an amazing audiobook narrator.
You like
do
that?
it.
How did you find a narrator for that?
Amazon owns a company called ACX.com, and ACX basically does it very similar to how you find editors and copy editors and book cover people, where they audition, you put out a little mini blurb of it and a script, and they audition for it. And the woman that did it, Murphy Napier, is actually a booktuber, so she's on YouTube and reviews books all the time. And so she is the voice of the audiobook. So it's in review right now through ACX, but should be, fingers crossed, out in the next week or so.
Mysteries, are they going to be your thing, do you think?
It's funny. Mystery thrillers I very much enjoy, but and I love the story and the way that it's come out, but I think I'm going to write in a lot of different genres. I have a lot of different ideas, and now that I've done it, and I actually feel more confident in knowing that I think I know what maybe not know what I'm doing, but I feel more confident that I know how to do it. I can kind of dust off some of those other ideas that have just
like
been
what?
sitting.
Where would you go? Romance, true crime, or whatever.
I love magic and fantasy realm type books.
That's
I've
big
always
right
had a
now.
soft spot for those.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so much fun.
Sci-fi? That borders on fantasy.
It does border on fantasy. I really, really enjoy. I really like parody books. I think you can.
What's a parody book? Explain to.
I would say a parody book would be anything like parenting, right? Or we're very serious about parenting.
Parenting book, okay. So an advice book.
Yeah, but a parody book. It's okay if your child has a chicken nugget. It's not
Chicken nuggets, they're good.
It's not going to hurt them.
I love them.
It doesn't all have to be organic, range-free. We can breathe a little. Everyone's doing the best they can.
So that would be a good book.
Yeah.
That would be good. In your experience in college, did they ever have you write anything and you had an inkling of, gee, I think I'm pretty good at it?
I did write a lot in college. I wrote for the school newspaper. I did do a lot of writing in college and high school, and I always wrote down stories. And people always enjoyed the stories that I wrote.
So you kind of knew, in a way.
I didn't know that it would be well received, and that at the end of it, it was a complete story that had a beginning, had a middle, had an end, was self-propelled enough that people would keep reading it.
You had no idea that this was going to happen.
Not really. I mean, I wrote the book to say that I wrote the book.
Yeah.
That on the bucket list, that when it's all done, you wanted to write a book, and you wrote a book, and you put it out there.
And you didn't expect it to be really that popular.
And then I let people start to read it, which was horrifying. I was like, oh God, okay, because they're all your friends, right?
Yeah.
And so
you thought, oh, I'm really going to get edited now.
There's a certain expectation that I need you to tell me the truth, and they genuinely seem to like it. And now it's out on Amazon, and I mean, I've we've done Germany, and there's Australia and France.
Where are you going to be appearing next around here? What's your schedule coming up?
My next appearance will be Bedlam Books on Friday at 7 p.m. in Worcester.
Friday, January
28th.
June
Where are we?
26th?
June 28th.
28th.
Today's the 26th.
What time?
7 p.m.
Okay.
So,
And that's we were kidding about this. What street again is it?
no, it's in Compton Place. I'm going to say that
In Compton
wrong.
Place in Worcester. It's a new bookstore, right?
Yeah, she's been around, I think, for about a year because I had asked her.
Yeah.
The building itself is, it's adorable. There's an antique store in there. There's this, bookstore in
Yeah.
there. She does teas and juices and stuff.
Sure.
It's a really, really cute bookstore. But I've set that up, and then I'm going to take a break because I've been doing, I feel like, nothing but promoting from, April forward. I'm going to take a break. I've started the second book, and I need to get that going. I would like to get the second book out in the beginning of next year to kind of capitalize on
A lot of places
role.
now are, a lot of my authors say, well, I've been connecting with them, and they're saying, well, right now we're all set for the summer, but they're booking now from the fall. So
Yeah.
if you're an author and you really want to start getting your schedule together now, because that's what they're doing.
I have an event on October 3rd at the Gardner Library.
Oh, you're going to the Gardner Library? Good.
Well, I very much wanted to do things up there as well. I mean, obviously here is convenient
Well,
for
you
me.
grew up in Gardner, right?
But I grew up in Gardner. There's the restaurant that Taylor works at in the book is called The Barn. There used to be an ice cream barn in Templeton that's no longer open anymore. There's a lot of, reference points from that area.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to make sure that I get up there. Plus, I still have, old high school friends and other people that I think...
So they know you, and they get to see your book.
Right, and hopefully that will make it more convenient for them.
When will you be at the Gardner Library?
October 3rd.
Oh, okay, good. You're already... Okay, October 3rd. Is that a Saturday? What?
I think it's a Friday.
Is that Friday? At night, probably in the evening. And you'll be there.
We haven't really set up times yet. They're kind of just booking things out, and I'm working with the Grafton Library to do an event.
So you don't have
with
any
them as
problem getting
well.
up and speaking about your book and telling the story, and
Not so far.
that is good. Yeah, I'll get some of those books, authors expos. You would love them.
I'm definitely going to check them out as soon as we get. I gotta get the second one under my belt a little and get a real feel for what it's gonna do, and then hopefully next winter I can spend some real time.
Where do you find time to write with 3 children? Really? When they're in bed at night.
Carefully, yes.
Yeah.
Either when they're in bed at night or I get up earlier than they do. Because you just can't. Sometimes at night, by the time you get to the end of the day, and anyone who has children knows this, by the time you get to 7, 8 o'clock at night, you are just toast. You're done. Either you've been at work all day and then you did the kids all night, or you've been with the kids all day and you're just.
I'm a night person, though, so I would begin to revel up
to
get
do
into
your
bed,
thing at
and
night.
I'm often running till 1 in the morning.
When I get really into it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. My poor children are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm thinking about my book and staring off into the ether."
They haven't read it. They're too little.
No, they're too little. But my husband, because when we were proofing the audio version, my husband helped me because I don't typically listen to audiobooks very often, so I wasn't really sure what to look for. Yeah. It's a very enjoyable experience. I did very much enjoy it. Originally, it was kind of alien to me, and I didn't understand it. Yeah. But as I must have listened to the book 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It got to be a very enjoyable experience. My husband listens to audiobooks, so he would put it.
He knows.
So he would put it in the truck when he's got the kids with him. And they're like, "We're listening to your book," and I'm like, "You're doing the chapters that don't have anything in them they shouldn't hear, right?"
We're talking with MJ Fleming, and she is an author, a brand new author from Grafton. And the way I found this young girl is through was it the Grafton News?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grafton News. This comes out on Thursdays, by the way. I love to get all the local newspapers. I got to figure out when they're coming out and all this stuff. And then I found Grafton residents' first published novel was a journey. How did they find you for the great article?
I sent out press releases.
You did?
I did.
And then this person, Chance Files, got in touch with you.
So Chance is actually works for the Gardner News. So the Gardner News was the first one to contact me about writing a story. So he and I spoke on the phone, and he wrote the story. And then what I think a lot of the local papers do is, assuming that the writing is somewhat decent, they grab the article and put it into their paper. So the Grafton News took his article and added it to the Grafton News edition.
And before she wrote this, you were the events planner at the college you went to, Worcester. Was it Worcester State University by then, or was it still Worcester State College?
It was college.
Yeah, that's what they did with mine up in Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out at first, and I thought, well, why not university? It's huge.
Yeah. And when you put them all together,
yeah,
when you clump the individual colleges together, you very much have, the needs and the means to make
I
them
love what you said.
universities.
Regardless of what it was, life may have moved on, and the next thing you know, you have an unrelated career that helped pay the bills, and you never had the time or took the effort to make that project happen. That was the story for Fleming up until 2 years ago, when she left her career in event planning and sat down to write her first book. I went to college to get my bachelor's in English, but I didn't have an interest in much else and didn't know what to do. And then one day you said, I'm tired of being an event planner. I really want to write.
I really wanted to accomplish this goal of mine that had always been something that I wanted to do, and
That's big,
Yeah.
But having been an event planner, you have an edge over probably most of my authors, because you're already excellent at the reaching out and the getting to the event, that type of thing. Marketing, promoting.
I didn't actually do that much marketing and promoting. I was really much more logistical and operational support.
Okay.
That was kind of my role, but I did see a lot of the people that I worked very closely with were doing all of those things. And when I was in college, I did internships in the marketing department, so I knew how to write a press release.
So you knew how to do that.
And really you gotta eyeballs. Need eyeballs. It's
That's-
really all it is. Of
so-
varying degrees of eyeballs. Any eyeball you can get, doesn't matter.
And getting that press release out, and
Was
the guy
huge.
in Gardner found you, and the Gardner News, it's right in front of me. Thank you, Chance Files from the Gardner News, for getting this
Thank
up.
you, Chance.
This came out in, let me see, May 9th.
Yeah.
I've been hanging on to it ever since. And we finally got her on here. Now, your new one might be out in a year, right?
It's my hope. My
It's
hope
your
and
hope.
my plan to get it
Okay.
out for early next year so that we can kind of capitalize on.
All right.
On
Well,
the
MJ
buzz.
Fleming, author. She's my only sunshine. Grab a copy downstairs at the library in Upton. Also, again, how can they get a copy?
They can buy it on Amazon in paperback and ebook format, and also be on Amazon in iBook.
Good. It's a good book, and she's got another one coming. And is this one a thriller? The next one? Did you say it was a mystery again? It's the continuation.
It'll finish off her story, so it'll be similar.
This little girl was abducted. Okay, so this is like a mystery thriller, and so the second one is going to wrap up all the loose ends, or any loose ends, right? So you're going to want to hang on for the next one.
Yep.
We have you back on. You got to follow up with this.
Yeah, I will.
Don't leave us
I
hanging.
will. We'll do a whole pre-sale
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
and we'll get it going.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
This is great. We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream.